Have you ever felt gripped by fear, so much so that it paralyzes you, stopping you from taking action, pursuing your dreams, or facing difficult situations? In a world full of uncertainty, fear can feel overwhelming. But what if I told you there's a way to confront and overcome that fear using ancient wisdom, one that's been practiced by warriors for centuries? Today, we're delving deep into the teachings of Miyamoto Musashi, Japan's greatest swordsman and samurai, to uncover the timeless strategies he used to overcome fear and emerge victorious, not just in battle, but in life itself. Miyamoto Musashi lived in the 16th century, a time of conflict and war in Japan. Through his duels and battles, he developed a philosophy of fearlessness that remains powerful even in our modern lives. By embracing his principles, you too can conquer fear, build unshakable resilience, and face any challenge with clarity and confidence. So, how do we apply Musashi's wisdom today? Let's explore the strategies he used, starting with the foundation of all warrior philosophy, the mindset. Section 1. Embrace the warrior mindset. Musashi's life was one of constant combat, but he understood that the real battle begins within. The first step to overcoming fear is developing a warrior mindset. This isn't about becoming aggressive or unfeeling. Rather, it's about finding strength within yourself. Musashi wrote in his book, The Book of Five Rings, "You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain." This speaks to the importance of adaptability and resilience. Fear often arises when we feel trapped or without options. By adopting a mindset that there are multiple ways to face any problem, you begin to see possibilities rather than obstacles. Fear thrives in uncertainty, and the warrior mindset is about preparing yourself mentally to face whatever comes your way. Musashi would train relentlessly, not just in swordsmanship, but in meditation and self-reflection. For him, physical preparation was inseparable from mental readiness. Ask yourself, are you preparing for the challenges in your life, or are you letting fear dictate your actions? Start by strengthening your mind. Meditate, practice mindfulness, and build routines that help you remain grounded when uncertainty strikes. Think about an example from your own life. Perhaps you're facing a difficult decision at work or struggling with a personal challenge. Your mind may race with worries. What if things don't go as planned? What if I fail? The warrior mindset invites you to accept these thoughts without judgment and focus on what you can control. In a chaotic world, the only thing you truly have power over is your own mind. Once you internalize this, you start building a fortress within yourself, where fear has no entry. Section 2. Accept the reality of fear, but don't let it control you. Musashi knew that fear is a natural part of life, especially for warriors. The danger is not in feeling fear, but in allowing it to control you. He wrote, "You should accept death as something that happens, not something to be afraid of." This philosophy isn't about being reckless, but rather about coming to terms with the inevitabilities of life. The more you accept that some things are beyond your control, the less power fear has over you. Modern life may not require us to face life or death situations, but we do face uncertainty and challenges that can feel just as daunting. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, and fear of the unknown can immobilize us. Musashi teaches that accepting fear is the first step in overcoming it. Instead of running away from what frightens you, acknowledge it and look at it closely. Fear loses its grip when you confront it head-on. For example, if you're afraid of public speaking, don't avoid situations where you need to speak in front of others. Instead, accept that fear is part of the process. Embrace it, and each time you face it, it will have less power over you. Musashi believed in exposing himself to the things he feared most, so he could grow stronger. By practicing this approach, you too can gradually desensitize yourself to fear. Section 3. Mastery through discipline and repetition. Musashi was famous for his discipline and relentless practice. He fought over 60 duels, emerging victorious in all of them. His success wasn't due to luck or natural talent, it was a result of disciplined practice. He wrote, "The path is the practice is the path." To overcome fear, you must commit to consistent practice. Fear often stems from a lack of confidence or a sense of inadequacy. By repeatedly exposing yourself to the things that scare you, you build familiarity and strength. Imagine training for a marathon. At first, the distance may seem impossible, but through disciplined training, running a little further each day, you gradually build the physical and mental resilience to overcome the challenge. The same principle applies to fear. If you fear failure, practice putting yourself in situations where failure is possible. Learn to see failure not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth. Musashi's life teaches us that mastery over fear comes through repetition and patience. Develop routines that build your confidence, whether it's learning a new skill, practicing assertive communication, or building physical strength through exercise. By integrating disciplined habits into your life, you gradually train your mind and body to react calmly in stressful situations. Section 4. Staying calm in the face of adversity. Musashi's strength wasn't just in his physical prowess, but in his ability to stay calm in the heat of battle. One of his key teachings was to remain composed, regardless of the chaos around you. He would often meditate before duels, clearing his mind of distractions so he could focus on the task at hand. This practice is crucial in overcoming fear. When your mind is calm, you can think clearly and make rational decisions. In everyday life, stress and fear often arise when we feel overwhelmed. This could be from work pressures, relationship issues, or personal anxieties. The ability to stay calm in such situations is a skill that must be cultivated. Start by practicing mindfulness. Take a few moments each day to breathe deeply and focus on the present moment. When faced with adversity, remind yourself that, like Musashi, you have the power to remain calm. Your reaction to the situation is what determines its outcome, not the situation itself. Think about a time when you faced a stressful situation. Perhaps it was a tight deadline at work or a difficult conversation with a loved one. How did you react? If you allowed stress to take over, it likely clouded your judgment. But if you stayed calm, you probably handled the situation better. Practice staying composed, even when things go wrong, and you'll find that fear loses its intensity. Section 5. Detachment and letting go of ego. Musashi's philosophy also emphasizes the importance of detachment. He understood that fear is often tied to our ego, our sense of identity, and our need to protect it. In the Book of 5 Rings, he advised warriors to detach themselves from the outcome of their battles. He believed that clinging too tightly to victory or fearing defeat clouds judgment and creates hesitation. In our modern lives, ego often manifests in the fear of failure or the need for validation. We become afraid of making mistakes because we tie our self-worth to success. Musashi's wisdom teaches us that to overcome fear, we must detach from these outcomes. Let go of the need to prove yourself. Accept that failure is a part of growth and that every experience, whether good or bad, is an opportunity to learn. Consider the example of someone who fears failure in their career. They may avoid taking risks, fearing that a misstep will damage their reputation or sense of self-worth. Musashi's approach would be to detach from these fears and focus on the process, not the outcome. When you let go of your ego, you free yourself from the limitations fear imposes. Section 6. Visualization and mental preparation. Musashi was also a master of visualization. Before a duel, he would visualize himself in battle, seeing every movement, every strike, and every possible outcome. This technique allowed him to prepare mentally and face his fears even before the fight began. Visualization is a powerful tool for overcoming fear, as it trains the mind to become familiar with the situations you dread. In today's context, visualization can be used to prepare for any challenge. Public speaking, athletic events, difficult conversations, or major life changes. The key is to visualize yourself facing the situation confidently and successfully. This trains your brain to expect a positive outcome, reducing the fear response. If you have an upcoming challenge that you're dreading, take a few minutes each day to visualize yourself handling it with ease. See yourself remaining calm, executing your actions with precision, and emerging victorious. The more you practice this, the more your mind will respond positively when the real situation arises. Section 7. Facing death, the ultimate fear. Musashi's teachings often revolved around accepting death, the ultimate fear for many. By meditating on death and confronting its inevitability, Musashi believed that he could live without fear, making clear-headed decisions in every battle. In modern life, while we may not face life-threatening situations daily, we do confront fears that feel just as overwhelming. The practice of memento mori, or remembering our mortality, helps us put our fears into perspective. It reminds us that life is short and that wasting time worrying about what might happen takes away from the present moment. By accepting the reality of death, we free ourselves from the fear of it, and in turn, from many other fears. Try reflecting on this idea. What would you do if you knew you had limited time left? Would you let fear control your actions, or would you seize each moment, making the most of your life? Conclusion: the way of the warrior is within you. These teachings may come from a different time, but the principles Miyamoto Musashi developed are timeless. Fear is a part of the human experience, but it does not have to control you. By embracing the warrior mindset, accepting the reality of fear, practicing discipline, and letting go of your ego, you can build the resilience needed to face any challenge. Remember, the way of the warrior is not just for samurai. It's a mindset and approach that anyone can adopt. The question is, will you take up the challenge and confront your fears, or will you let them hold you back? The choice is yours. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who may benefit from these ancient teachings. Let's build a community of fearless warriors who support each other on this journey of personal growth. Comment below with what fears you're working to overcome, and let's face them together.